Welcome to Arkansas Basketball Recap, that show that recaps every Arkansas basketball game. I'm Daniel Price, that's Jacob Price, and we are recapping Arkansas's 90-77 loss to the Illinois Fighting Illini on Thanksgiving Day. And the only thing that is of any solace in this moment is that at least you're not UConn or Indiana, because your last couple of days could have been worse. When if you were one of those two teams who just went down in like spectacular fashion to multiple teams. I mean, ain't nothing like being ranked second in the country and losing 3 games in 3 days if you're UConn or Indiana, and just getting not just losing, but getting the living crap beat out of you 2 games in a row. So at least that didn't happen. Even though we did, by every metric, get punched squarely in the mouth of the first 6 minutes of this game. And, to some degree played up and down even-ish after that, but we just never recovered, getting down 12 points in the first 5 minutes, and we could never get it. I mean, we got down to as many as, I think the lowest we got it was 9. Played better the second half offensively. I mean, this game really comes down to this, and I got a lot of thoughts on it, but in some ways it's not complicated. Illinois goes 15 of 31 from the 3-point line. You're not going to win very many games if that happens to you. 15 of 31, that is almost 49%. And Arkansas goes 5 of 17 from the 3-point line. So you had a team hit 10 more threes than you hit. You lose by 13. You might be lucky that you only lost by 13, and Arkansas was, because Arkansas did get to the basket a lot more than they did and got to the foul line. Even though we didn't shoot free throws great, we shot under 60%, shot 59.3%, went 16 to 27 from the foul line. They went 15 to 22, which is 68%. So they got us there. We shot more of them, but not a ton more. But, we shot 48% from the floor. They shot 52%. We shot better inside the arc than they did. I mean, that percentage gets inflated by the fact that we shot sub 30 from 3. And the way that this stuff gets broken down, two things can be true at the same time. We left shooters, we left corners, we dropped down to help and left guys that you obviously can't leave. That happened. And what also happened is they made those shots, and they made some that were contested, that weren't bad defense, that were just like deep or off of scramble plays or long rebounds. And to their credit, they buried those shots. And so that's, some of those things have nothing to do with defense. A team hits 15 of them though, and it has some of them had something to do with defense. And that is mostly just leaving guys, not just like, it's weird. It's not like unwilling to play good defense or play hard or be up in somebody's shirt or something like that. It was mostly just leaving guys to help on another guy, or somebody else got loose and you felt like you had to leave or whatever. And they just, credit to Illinois, man, they made us pay for doing that. And that's what it is. We didn't shoot the ball from distance as well as they did. But 15 is just too many, man. You're not going to win very many games that you give up 15 threes in. And I think this particular game, we got to see Jonas a little bit. He played 11 minutes. It does kind of seem like you can get him out there and you got to give him 11 straight minutes, but that's it. Once you bench him, like, he stiffens up and he's done. But I don't know that we've said for a while, like, well, we'll see what happens when we get Jonas and stuff. I don't really think that had that big an impact. And we didn't lose this game because we got beat up on the inside, or because we got dominated on the glass, or our interior defense wasn't good enough. That wasn't the issue in this game. This game came down to the 3-point line.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it definitely did. I mean, I think what you said is right. I would maybe it's a hard game to sort of analyze because, like you said, in some ways, the fact that you didn't get blown out is actually a testament to the fact that how good of athletes and players you have.
and
Um,
some fight and some like not giving up. So you could have let go of the rope, pretty easily.
yeah, well, because I mean, my personal opinion, and I might be wrong about this. I mean, undoubtedly I'm wrong about this to some degree, but I mean, I don't know why I'm qualifying all this. My take is I did learn something about the team that we kind of already touched on, or at least with certain players, and I think I'm correct about this, which is not a good sign for the future. Which is, I mean, we've got amazing athletes, and maybe this is the way Kentucky always is, but and you could see that like though they could not stop those guys from putting their head down and getting to the rim. Um, and we have guys that are willing to play defense, have the determination and the effort and the want to play discipline, but they're not technically good. They're not, and by that I mean they're not technical defensive players. And the one thing I think
Except for maybe Billy.
maybe, yeah, and even his is mostly motor.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I need to see him.
I thought Billy earned himself. I mean, he did play 32 minutes, but I think
Well, he kept us from getting down by we'd have lost by 20 if he hadn't come in because
yeah.
like you said, the differential was built in that first 10 minutes and it was swelling fast and he almost single-handedly
And by
just
the way,
kept it from exploding.
by sheer want to too. Like I
Yeah.
mean, like I thought we'll get there. When we get to bright spots, I mean, I think Billy's a big one.
Yeah, but I think these guys are going to struggle to the reason that their defensive numbers have looked so good up until this point is because they are, like I said, they're great athletes. They've got good speed and good size, and they are like willing to play hard. They all play hard all the way down the court. But dude, they are not smart defensive players when it comes to they don't have the thing that we've talked about. And it's actually a testament. They're such good athletes and they're so determined that they uh harass shots that they have no business harassing when they've been completely beat by because they have their body position completely wrong. Like
Yeah.
so they have they let their guy get completely like around them and or they don't switch right or they stay too long on the pick and pop like they two guys stay with the dribbler and they leave guys wide open and they still try their damnedest to get back to players and get that rotation. But dude, if they were capable of playing like it was very frustrating watching. I mean, how do they not know how to cover the pick and pop any better than that? I mean, and it happened all game.
See, I but
Every time the big shooter came out and set a
yeah.
screen, all he did was turn around. Two guys went with the dribbler. And the thing is, if two guys go with the dribbler, you can do that sometimes, but you have to smother it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because like if you're gonna I mean we talk about this all the time, but there's a point where you shade and you just like keep the guy from driving until the other guy can get there and you get back. Our guys were like double teaming the dribbler half the time, but
Yeah.
not in a way where he couldn't pass the ball. Like they were like both guys would come and he'd just go, well, I guess I'm just going to
No,
throw it
you're
over
sort
to the
of
wide
both
open guy.
you're sort of both cutting off the drive. You're not, and you're nobody's cutting off the pass. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna both go, one guy has to cut off the drive, the other guy has to cut off the pass. You basically like put this guy in a box, and that's the end of that. That's not what. But here, the encouraging thing about that though, dude, is like you there's some things that are innate or like or that are or you learn over a long period of time of just sort of like taking the right angles and all that kind of stuff. But what you're talking about, like that right there, that's fixable. Like a coach can fix that. That's something you can teach that part. Like that, hey, on this we don't like you got to split it. Like you can fix that rather quickly if guys are just willing to do the thing that you tell them to do. That doesn't take loads and loads of defensive smarts, right? Like this is something that can be taught. That stuff can be taught to you. Like, and that's the sort of stuff like, are we going under screens? Are we going over them, depending on who you're playing? Are we switching everything? Are we fighting through screens? That's all
Why were they?
stuff.
Why did they? Because even Calipari said when they interviewed him that they were probably should go under some of those really high ball screens, and then they weren't. Boogie just kept fighting
Yeah,
over the top of those screens, and but like it was good enough that he would be end up on the guy's backside. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's like why? And sometimes it'd be like 40 feet way out there. I'm like, why wouldn't you just duck under? If the guy pulls up and hits a 36 footer in that shadow spot while you're
yeah.
jumping under, it's like you've got to concede that once you've been burnt for 35 minutes.
Yeah, you gotta go under. You are typically going to go under screens that are set that high up.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're 27 feet from the basket and the screen's coming, like I'm going under it. But because it's just too dangerous to fight over it to give up the drive, like, or to give it, you're just you're behind the offense at that point, so you don't want to do that.
Dude,
Um,
we were chasing them the whole game, and I'm not joking. Like I know I don't know that we got more than like you might have been able to count our defensive stops on two hands. Like you might not need to take your shoes off because we just could not get stops. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they basically we either
or
fouled them,
or when you kind of almost did, it ended up being a foul.
or they scored. Uh, I mean, it felt
Well,
like there was
that's how you give
very
up.
few times.
That's how you give up 90.
Yes. Well, and my concern though is I think that's like I agree with you that this can be taught and well, it's you can't teach speed and quickness and athleticism, but there's
Fortunately, we don't have to because they all have that.
right, but there is something where it's like, yes, you can teach someone chess,
Yeah,
but there's also everybody has a limit to how fast they can process how much processing power they actually have innately. You can maximize each person's processing power, but and what I'm saying is these guys there and then maybe this is always Kentucky's problem because when they do have a lot of young guys, although we have a mix, but this is definitely something that comes with experience. Like I mean, it's the main thing I when I watch high school basketball now that I'm going I can see immediately when the guy's like, "Oh, you need to squeeze down just a little. Like you're just a little too far over and you're leaving yourself vulnerable for that pass or you know what I mean? Like you just
yeah,
feel the game where you're
yeah,
like you're almost in the right position, but you're literally just you've got your hips turned slightly too much this direction and you're 6 inches over. And you need if you were like here, now you're in the you put it's not that it's foolproof, but you're in the most advantageous spot for the shooter and the passer. And these guys are finding themselves 4 inches, 6 inches, 10 degrees, like to the wrong, like put positioning themselves in the wrong spot where and to Illinois' credit, almost every time if somebody had their hips turned the wrong way or crouched too much to try to help, they always found the guy. They always found the move. They found the pass.
yeah, yeah,
They drove when they needed to. And while that is something that can be coached, it's also something that mostly comes, I think, slow through experience.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So, like, what I'm saying is, what Boogie Flan doesn't understand about the game defensively, he can certainly become a master of potentially, depending on, like I said, I'm sure everybody has a ceiling in the next 4 years as he becomes a professional. But that doesn't mean we're going to get it this season.
I
We
think
might
he can
see
get better.
yeah, no, I'm seeing we might see marginal improvements and it depends. I mean, everybody's learning curve is different, but to me there's only like I said, it's like being a good passer. You can coach someone to exactly how to pass, when to bounce pass, when to, exactly how to do it off a slip screen and stuff. But people that are gifted passers have a certain kind of mind. And even like it's something that's obviously developed. I mean, John Stockton, I'm sure, wasn't nearly as good a passer when he was in high school as he was in his third year as a pro. But it just means that I don't know, like, we won't know exactly how much these guys can improve in real time with stuff like that. And I'm concerned, like the way we play defense is the way Auburn plays defense, but way sloppier. They play
Yeah,
with the same level of aggression, but they stay square, dude. They don't let
yeah.
their guys get around them. They don't cheat at the wrong times. Like they play such hard nose, square, straight up. You're not getting behind me kind of defense. And I think when we play teams in the SEC like that, we're going to I think we're gonna hold teams like I said down to like seven. Like we're our just our sheer will is going to bother them. But if we keep making these kind of like if we keep playing that sloppy and making all these mistakes and leaving guys open, you're going to need to score 80 points to win because you're going to be giving up 70 to 80 points every game. And I do think that our guys, what I'm saying is, I think we're basically in for one of those seasons where you're going to have games where the shots are falling and we're basically I think we're a team that's going to average based on what I saw there against good teams and good competition. We're going to give up 78 points a game and we're going to lose half of those and we're going to win half of those. And the difference is going to be when our shots are falling, we're going to score 81 and win half of them, and we're going to score 65 and lose half of them. And I
Well, I
mean
mean,
that obviously,
we scored 77 today, and I don't think we shot the ball particularly well.
yeah, there was a lot of possessions though.
There's a lot of possessions, but we also didn't shoot free throws very well, which I know those.
No,
Yeah, I
that
know
is
they can make free
that is
throws.
true. We that game would have been a lot different if we had made a lot of those free throws going down the stretch. They missed
Yeah,
a
yeah.
ton.
I don't. I'm not that. Again, people always do this, like, and it's irritating. Like, I'm not that worried about the offense. We didn't shoot the ball very well from distance. We didn't shoot the very ball very well from the free throw line. Okay, we need to shoot better. I mean, we scored 77 points on a not great shooting when we didn't shoot the ball that well. You're like, I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, it's fine. Uh, I I guess I would say that the tweak that you could make if you were doing this game over again, like if you say, give me 2 days and run this back and play the exact same game, and you just don't leave the corners for any reason, like at all. Like, you don't leave guys in the corner. You don't leave them. I don't know that we win this game, but this game is going right down to the wire if you don't do that.
Maybe. I mean, dude, that was the other thing I was going to say. The reason I think we would have shot 50% from the 3-point line too, if you noticed. Now, we had like one or two 3-pointers that were
Dude,
pretty good looks.
that they made but didn't count because they came back out.
Well, honestly, I wasn't even like those were from Big Z and he uh his weren't actually that open. Like they were actually
Yeah.
one the first one was, but then the other ones
He
like
was
he had guys in his face.
Big Z was 3 of 6 from the 3 point line, which, by the way, no complaints, 50%. I'll take it. By the way, Big Z, listen to me, man. Listen to me. Dude, you shoot as many threes as you want. Like, you just let it fly, dude. You're shooting like 54% from the 3 point line, and not because you shot, 5 and made 3 or something like that. You've shot a lot of them.
Mhm.
You make threes at a real high clip, man. But do not dribble that ball. Do not try to shake. What are you
Well,
doing,
that's the
man?
other thing.
Let's not do
The whole
this.
game was kind of sloppy. And I will say, I mean, like I said, I know I'm being pessimistic and I agree with you. Like I'm not saying we can't shoot, but I'm I'm still in the place where I was before. Like we've had one game where we shot well,
Mhm.
and I'm definitely still concerned about
You
our
say that Big
ability.
Z can shoot.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I mean, like I said, I don't want him to be our main 3-point shooter. I mean, as long as if it's what we've got, so he bet might as well
If you're
shoot
gonna
him.
if you're gonna make half of them, you're like, I guess you got to shoot 6 a game if you're gonna make half of them, dude.
Right. Well, but I mean, tonight. Well, I've got like five different thoughts open right now, but the one thing to close the loop on the one, as I was saying, is they got way better looks than we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a couple of open looks, hit a few of them, missed a few of them, but most of the other times, like we didn't shoot that many threes, and when we did, it was like a boogie or step back deep three off a screen, and it definitely wasn't like I'm not saying he can't make that shot, he can make that
Mm.
shot, and I would love for him to, but we didn't get too many kick the ball around, work it around, and find that man in the corner and just wide open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
had, I mean, dude, they must have had 12 shots where they caught the ball, and it was like you're just going, you know what I'm talking about, where they catch the ball and you're like, hope that doesn't go in.
Yeah.
because there's just no defense. Like it's a perfect look.
Well, part of
And
it, that's what this game came down to. Is just like they shot threes and we got to the rim. And threes are worth more than twos. Like if you're like which team can get to the basket better, it's not close. Right? I mean, you're like okay, let me put it
I don't
this
know,
way.
dude. They didn't do terrible. Like I mean,
No,
every time
dude,
they drove, I
dude.
felt like we
Okay,
fouled them.
let's play this game with no 3-point line and see what happens. Like, I mean, we're gonna smoke you, like because we're not even gonna shoot any, and like, it's like because obviously there aren't like all we're gonna do is get downhill. If we played this game in 1948, you're about to get toasted, dude. Now that's not what we're doing. We're playing in 2024, but like I love our ability to get downhill. I love, dude. Okay,
Well, I was gonna say
a
you're
couple of
mostly talking
performances
about
like
one guy though.
no, I mean like even like DJ got to the rim a bunch and
I didn't feel like any of it, but I know Boogie got in there, and all of them are okay drivers. Nelly, all of them, but not they did none of those guys did anything that the Illinois guys weren't doing. The only one that did stuff that the like nobody else was doing was Throw, and he or however we're saying his name now,
Thero,
Thero. But like he was the only one like that
dude,
was like he looked like
Thero's
LeBron James. He looked like young LeBron James.
well, Thero's better than everybody else. Thero his team lost, but he was the best. He's the best player on the court. Like because like we can sit here and analyze how you might like counteract some dudes that can like hit perimeter shots and be like, this is what you got to do. Let me tell you what you can't do. There's no answer for what Thiero was doing. Like there's just no answer for that, dude. Like that, it's like, hey, do you have one of those to guard that? You don't? Well, then there's like nothing you can do. Like, and
Yeah, it
that
was
like,
unfortunate that he didn't like I think if he was doing that in a game that you're leading by 4 or 5 or even like tied and it's going back and forth, him doing that every time would have felt so much more devastating that I think he would have started to get doubled and you would have seen the whole defense
yeah,
loosen up a little bit. But unfortunately, like you said, we were just trading
yeah,
his two, and it wasn't just usually it was his two, and then they would score five. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it would be like two possessions in a
Now
row that they would
we did
score.
outscore them in the second half. Um, but so I thought that this that's why I meant that this is what I'm saying from the I opened the way I did. Like the first 6 minutes of the game is the game. Like after that, it's just a wash. Like it's this we probably like, we outscored them the rest of the game. I mean, like but the not by a lot, but by like two or whatever. But I don't know we got punched square in the face, and we didn't come out, dude. Even if we had come out being like, we're gonna we're gonna drive to the basket and we're gonna play. That's what we're gonna do. Um, that would have been better than it just took. It just seemed like it took us a while to get to where like, hey, also we're gonna score and we're going to do it the way that we do it. I don't know what exactly we were trying to do in the beginning of it, but it wasn't happening. And maybe maybe part of it was like Billy putting Billy in and getting him bringing the energy and guys started playing with more um, aggression on the offensive end or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't like the game wasn't over after 6 minutes, but the difference in this game is the first 6 minutes of the game.
Oh yeah, they came out and played like trash at the beginning. I mean, defensively and offensively, and unfortunately, all that Riz from the 110-point game that we were hoping would somehow transfer just even into like a spring in your jump step, that little bit of
Yeah,
snap in your wrist. It did not at all, and I think you could tell right away. I mean, I don't know about you, but the body language, like the difference between like the way that I mean, I understand it's different athletes, and maybe I'd go back and watch it. I have to see how much the defensive pressure was showing or whatever. But these guys, dude, like nobody wanted to shoot.
yeah,
Like nobody was looking to be like, check out my handles, crossover, jab step. I'm gonna pull this shot. Everybody felt tight. Everybody felt like they were like deferring. I mean, there was times where guys drove in and you could tell they had no idea what they were doing. They weren't going in with intention, and they were just like, "Oh, now I'm going to stop, pivot, pivot. I guess I'll try to shovel past this to a guy that's not in a better position than me." You know what I mean? Like they were definitely discombobulated for that first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's too bad.
Let's
Mm,
get
like,
into some guys here before we wrap this up. Uh, Nelly Davis goes 1 for 3. He does have 6 assists, so that's pretty great. Only he has 3 points, made a 3-pointer. He was 1 of 2. He only shot 2 threes. He's 1 of 2 from 3. Um, what we got to do to get my guy more shots? I know that you didn't score 18 points a game last season at FIU on 3 shots. I know that didn't happen. So like, what we got to do, Mac? He's not getting enough shots. Like, I don't know what we got to do to get him more shots. And it doesn't seem like he's like bothered by it necessarily or anything, but at least he doesn't let it show. I'm sure he doesn't love it. But yeah, like and you know, the 6 assists is great. And like that means you were getting other guys shots that they were, that they were making, so you're getting them quality looks, and that's all great. Um but yeah, dude, when on a night where like we struggled to shoot the ball, your best shooter, at least your best guard shooter, uh, only takes 3 shots, and he plays 32 minutes. I mean, so he is. I mean, and part of that's because he's a good defender and all that. I mean, you want him out there whether he's scoring a bunch or not. But I do feel like 3 shots is not enough shots for Noe Davis. So I don't know. I don't have the solution to that necessarily. I don't know if it's just putting the ball in his hands more or what. But we if you're a team that says like, hey, sometimes we struggle to shoot the ball, the most proven shooter on your team probably needs to take more than 3 shots.
yeah, I agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that. I mean, I forgot that he was out there for a lot of part. I mean, I probably might go back and watch that game again and see where everyone's position is and stuff. Cause it's hard when you're frustrated and watching
Yeah.
like you don't notice every little thing. Because yeah, I mean, if it was like who was taking. I mean, I know in the second half they were just giving the ball to. I mean, every time if it was, I mean, and I'm not blaming him, but every time you get if the ball got to throw, he was putting his head down and going to the basket
Yeah. I
more
mean,
than
well,
likely.
if it ain't broke, right? I mean, like, it's just like, dude, a couple of those times too, like he went in, that guy dunked so easy. Like, but there's one time where Big Z's brother, which by the way, that was kind of cool to see the two twin brothers duking it out. That's pretty good. Um, but at one time, Big G's brother, I think the announcer said it, made a business decision, actually fouled him out of the game. But he wasn't even trying to block that. He's like, I'm just wrapping you up. Like, there ain't no way that I'm about to have this happen to me. I'm not gonna be all 7 foot, whatever he is, and have this guy just dunking on my face because he had already taken off and it was too late, dude. So he just said, forget it. I'm going with this
Yeah,
foul.
when a do came in, it was pretty disappointing. I mean, like I said, I don't know if he's still not healthy or whatever, but
Yeah.
nothing really happened. You know
Well,
what I
they
mean?
didn't try
Like,
to get him involved in the offense at all. I actually did think like the post defense was uh the pick and roll defense, the pick and pop defense was better when he was out there. He and like when they're big, I don't know if you saw like him bodying up with the other big guy, and like, body. The guy tries to go over the left shoulder, and he gets all like long and straight up, and the guy like basically airballs it. Like, and that's just good pressure defense in the post. So that was all good. I did like he like ran the floor that one time, and someone missed. I don't remember who it was, and he just was right there to stick it back in.
hmm.
But he only played 11 minutes, and I
He
mean,
did the same thing though on one of those plays down low. There was guy, he came over and they were kind of crowding one guy, I could in live time I could see it. I'm like, that you're letting that other guy too far around you, and sure enough, they just shoveled the ball to him. And then I mean, the guy made a really high arcing
mhm.
shot off the glass, but it's like he just wasn't. It's that you weren't doing anything by not
Yeah, I mean,
premeditatively
uh, uh,
hedging that guy off.
Yeah, let's put it this way. He played 11 minutes, therefore there's no way he's 100% or else he would have played more than 11 minutes. And two, I'm guessing my guy has not been like practicing. Like he's got to be rusty. It's all get out, right? I mean, how rusty does this guy have to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, is he like? I doubt he's been scrimmaging a whole lot, right? Like so.
What was
Um,
the point breakdown? Because Boogie was, I would say, like it didn't feel like Boogie played that well. I mean, he scored a little bit, but he most of his jump shot was not going for the most part.
yeah.
Um, he even felt like on a few times when normally that when they got the ball to him in open space that he pulled it out, got a little intimidated, didn't go in there.
I feel like Twin Z did a pretty good job. He was I think we got a little taste of when we're like, oh, our interior defense. But we got a little taste of like what other teams are like probably saying, like, I don't know, your interior defense ain't that bad on the drive. You got a freaking 7-2 guy down there that's like just makes things really tough. And I do think with Boogie, you saw him get in one time, you get in there and Wagner went in there twice and just got his crap swatted, dude, by the and you're like,
Mhm.
well, that is what happens when you got like, so I think that affected him some. So if you do the point break, so Boogie had 8 points. Um, he was 4 of 5 on his free throws, but he was 2 of 12. Yeah, so like not a great shooting night for Boogie, and like that's gonna happen. I'm not worried about Boogie. Like he's gonna be fine. This was
No, but I felt like
not a great performance for him.
he didn't play very well defensively either. Not that his man got off a ton, but that felt like a bad matchup
Dude,
for him as
he
far
had a
as
horse crap fourth foul.
that guy was low and
Yeah,
strong and almost as quick as Boogie was, and he kept getting around him.
dude, did you see his when they gave Boogie's fourth foul? Did you see that play?
Yeah.
When he like over his shoulder slammed into him, Boogie like, and then the guy went like, I don't even know if I don't even know if Boogie touched him on that. It was
Hmm.
crazy looking. Anyway, and I think that was part of it too. Is Boogie was kind of playing in foul trouble the whole time, which like I don't think he probably is at his best defensively because you need him to be able to maybe gamble a little bit and stuff. So, DJ also had 8 points. He was 4 of 9. Um, had 3 assists. Only he only turned the ball over twice, so it wasn't like we did. I mean, we had 11 turnovers in the game, which isn't awesome, but it's not.
Not terrible.
It's
I
like
mean,
so did they. I mean,
mhm.
Illinois turned it over 11 times, so it wasn't like we turned the ball over a ton. Most games you can live with. Usually, you're trying to keep it around 10. You're like 11. You're like it's not. It wasn't like it was horrible. Um, Big Z had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Was 3 of 6 from the 3 point line, 5 of 9 from the field. I mean, I thought Big Z played pretty good. I mean, he had those 2 turnovers, um, but like I mean, we needed him. I mean, those threes were huge. That one oop, the first points of the game. That's like the hardest oop ever. He just thrown it over another 7 foot something guy, right? I mean, I was shocked it got there.
Mhm.
He had another score inside. That was like a that was really nice. The well, one thing I do like about Big Z is that well, one, like he seems likable as all get out. Like I mean, like he's kind of hard not to like him. Like where he looks like he's having fun, like and that kind of stuff, which is great. And even though like like when he was trying to do that, like I don't know, that rip through on the on the perimeter, and then just lost the ball or whatever. He also like throws all 7-2 of himself like on the floor to try to say. There's other times there's not a lot of guys Big Z size that when they see a ball on the floor, be like, dude, I'm going straight horizontal with all of me. Like I appreciate that. Like I like that he's willing to do that stuff. And so
Yeah,
it
but you gotta jump on the floor if you're the one if you're a
no
7 foot guy that tried to put the ball on the floor from the three
but
point
a
line,
lot of them
which
don't.
I don't blame him for because that's another thing where like that's the kind of thing where if you're a point guard, like what are you doing? Like you can't toss the ball to the 7 footer out at the elbow at the 3 point line and then back away where
Mhm.
because he
If he
doesn't
did
have any other he didn't have any other option.
he
He
didn't have a shot.
Boogie drifted to where he couldn't pass him the ball
Yeah.
because his defender had was like he didn't have a good
Yeah.
angle. So you're basically as a point guard going, you have to like, I mean, you don't have to drive. He could turn around and try to wait for somebody to cut and
Yeah.
or maybe post up. You certainly don't have to try to rip through and
Yeah.
power drive from the
Yeah.
top.
But
But that's
overall,
a bad decision.
yeah. But overall, I thought this game was fine for Big Z. I think he was good. Big Z was not the problem in this game. I don't like really think. Though he was
No, I
fine.
mean, I blame him a few times for letting his brother get those 3 pointers. But I mean, I don't know if I'd have to go back and watch each one. I don't think they were all his fault, but I mean, like I said, I don't know how two guys can't guard one guy. You've got to figure out a
He
way
what, dude?
to switch on screens,
His
go under
brother,
screens, or
his
something. You can't both have two guys on the ball
yeah.
because that leaves a guy open.
Hey, his brother was 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. So being big and shooting threes runs in that family. Obviously, like, so they
Hmm.
were shooting a lot of threes. They were rebounding for each other a lot back in the day, as they were just like letting it fly from distance. Apparently, um. So yeah. So I mean, Thero. I mean, he plays 34 minutes. He has 6 rebounds, 26 points. The only. I mean, he's a stud. Like he's a freak of nature athlete. Um, the only thing that you could say about him is, and this is not typical because this was actually surprising, and he could, I'm sure he was, he had to have been just freaking exhausted, like that's down the stretch in that game. But he was 12 of 21 from the free throw line. So I mean,
I do think some of that is the way he plays. It's sometimes really hard to get your legs to settle down
mhm,
when you're at the free throw line
yeah,
and be
because
soft.
he doesn't look like a bad free throw, and he hasn't been up to this point. Like I don't think 12 of 21 is going to be typical of him. Uh, but if he'd have went, and now this is absurd. If we'd be talking about how he's amazing, but if you've gone like 19 of 21, like that helped a lot. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to step up to the free throw line in a game and go 19 to 21. I'm not, but
Hmm.
but I
Although
can,
I'll,
but I could do 12. I could probably do 12 with 21.
I mean, I hit 16 in a row last night when I was up there shooting. So,
Oh,
I
there you
mean, I was just shooting 10, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to shoot until I
But
miss.
but
And
but you hadn't played 30 minutes of like driving downhill basketball.
I certainly had not.
Yeah, dude.
No, if
Uh,
you anybody that's played like a really hard game of 21 knows, I mean, you can get yourself to settle down, and once you start making the free throws, get them to go. But it's hard when you're playing against two guys and you're just head down and you throw it up and get it in to go up there. You're just like to settle your body down and be able to get back to the
yeah.
ginger mechanics of, just softly laying it up there is tough.
Yeah.
Um,
Then you had like said Nelly Davis had 3. It's not enough, but not really his fault. He only took 3. He only took 3 shots. So like I don't know. But here's the thing. Like he had 0 turnovers, 2 steals, 6 assists. I mean, like, so it wasn't like he wasn't doing anything. Uh, but I just need my guy to get more shots. DJ Wagner has 8 points, goes 4 of 9. Like we talked about him. But good. And then when you go to the bench, there's not a lot there. Trevin Brazil has 5 points. Trevin only played 7 minutes. I thought Trevin was pretty good in those 7 minutes. I mean, he was 2 of 2, made a 3. Hit the other shot.
he had I think it
Um,
was a putback dunk, right?
yeah, put back dunk. Grabbed 2 rebounds in 7 minutes. Um, I just think I thought he was fine. Like he obviously isn't 100%, or he probably would have played more than 7 minutes, but he was good. Jonas had 2 points in the 11 minutes he played. He also grabbed 3 rebounds. Carter Knox didn't do anything. He played 7 minutes, didn't do much. But then my guy, I mean, if Thero hadn't been such a beast, uh, you might be talking about player of the game honors, but Billy Richmond, dude, I thought Billy Richmond 6 of 9, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. I thought Billy was great. Like Billy and there's a lot of things that he was doing that don't show up in there too. Like he was just making other people feel stupid if they didn't match his energy, that kind of stuff. Like I like it when Billy's on the floor, man.
Yeah, no, I thought he was great. He really, like I said, I think he saved that game from going into a 20-point lead, in the first 10 minutes. Um, I mean, it still grew while he was out there, but it was growing slower because for every three of their points, he was putting in a layup or two here or there. That was mostly just sheer energy and getting
Mhm.
rebounds and stuff.
And like the one time where you felt like there was maybe a chance, like maybe something good was like maybe we have a chance. It was after Billy Richmond got that steal and got that breakaway dunk, and I think that got it down to that when he got down to nine or
I
10,
think
something like that.
it was 11, and then I think it was 11 if it's the same, or it might have been 9, but then they uh immediately called a timeout, came out and scored 5 points real quick and got it
Yeah,
back up to like
yeah.
it was either 14 or 15.
It felt like the moment that you're like, hey, if you're ever going to capture the momentum, Billy just gave you like the opportunity to do it. Like this is the moment. It didn't happen, but yeah, but I mean I talked about this a little bit last time too, but like I think that Billy is if he stays at Arkansas, if he stays at Arkansas 4 years, by the end of that 4 years, I think Arkansas fans are going to be pretty big fans of Billy Richmond III if he wants to stick around and become that guy.
Mhm. Well, I guess that's all there is to say
That's
about
it.
that.
Hey,
I think
again,
I'm gonna go ahead
again,
and
it's not UConn or Indiana.
yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of really good teams that have 3 losses now. I mean, honestly, I think it would be us if we were in one of those tournaments.
Would
Right
be.
now, I don't think this team is ready to
No, we're not ready. We're not ready. We're not
play those
health.
teams.
We're not healthy enough yet, and that's not just because of like, oh, we need our big guy we just need more pieces for rotational purposes and legs. And like, dude, us in a tournament right now, the not no, like we don't have enough guys to play. Like
Well, like I
we're
said,
be killed.
I'll go ahead and I feel comfortable. I mean, this is obviously I hope it's wrong and it could be totally wrong, but I'm gonna make a prediction and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's early, but I've watched a ton of basketball this week. I mean, I'm sure everybody has. There's been some sick games on. I mean, there's just been all kind. I mean, you turn it on, it's like Christmas.
Feast
There's
week,
just
dude. Best
yeah,
two
dude.
times of the year for college basketball is this week and then of course March.
And I think the ceiling for this team is the Sweet 16. And I think, I mean, obviously there's no floor because you can be as bad as you want to be. I mean, I'm being serious. Like, you can
Yeah,
injuries,
yeah,
just, you can
yeah.
lose 2 games in a row and then just have fighting in the locker room and
Mm.
things can snowball on you. So there is no floor. But I think this team, my prediction is they're going to lose and win basically every other game for the first part of uh conference play, and they're gonna be like 4-4, 5-5 ish, and because they're young and they're learning, and I think most of it's going to be probably frustrating. There's gonna like uh them learning how to play defense together, learning how to accept these roles on offense and get more, um, you know, be able to be more consistent with the shooting patterns and stuff and what they want to do. But then I think that there's a really good chance that similar to, because I mean, this is basically just what Kentucky has been doing for the last 10 years. I think that these guys are exceptional enough ball players that they'll figure out how to play together, and Cal will help them figure out what the best version of their team can be. And someone will probably emerge as the clear leader, or maybe 2 guys. And I think that they will make a good run in the latter part of the season and pick up momentum. And then I think they could, I mean, obviously they could lose, for anyone can lose the first round, but I think that they're good enough that if they play really well and are clicking on all cylinders, they could win a game or two in the tournament. But I don't think they're going to be like, this isn't the year. And the
Yeah.
reason I say that is I don't think this team has the thing that usually the really, really, really top 10 good teams have, which is a really smart, really glue point guard. And I know that's been the knock on Boogie a little bit, but it's not a knock on Boogie. There's just not that many of these guys out there. You know what I mean? Like they're very rare, and the teams that usually end up in the final four, when you look at them, it's not always a point
Yeah,
guard,
yeah.
although generally it is.
Well,
Sometimes it's a like
I think you could
shooting
say
guard or a
this.
power forward.
Well, I think you could say this so that you're not insulting Boogie. I think Boogie's better than most other teams' point guards. That's like you're if you're saying, hey, the final to make it to the final four, you got to have like a top four point guard, and you're like, oh, well, I don't know if he ain't that, but you're like, are there? If you took all 300, did I even say that? Take all division Power Five conference teams. I don't think half of them have point guards better than Boogie Flan. Like, I don't think they do. Um, Honestly, I don't think Illinois does. But that's not how they beat us. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like when you see some of these other teams play. By the way, I've seen Kansas play, and Kansas is very good. But stop telling me that Auburn's not the best team in the country right now. Like don't tell me that Auburn is not thus far the number. Like I don't know how if they're not number one on Monday. I don't know what we're doing. And I know Kansas didn't lose or anything, but dude, I got eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that Auburn's the best team in the country right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. Yeah. Um, anyway, we'll see. I hope that prediction, I hope they can exceed that prediction. But I feel like that's what I'm seeing is, I mean, that's how I feel right now. I feel like
Yeah.
we've seen enough games. Like it's not this team right now doesn't have the magic sauce. And I mean, they have, like I said, they have great basketball players, but they don't have that guy where you're like, he's
And
the floor. They need a floor general, and they
yeah,
don't really
and
have
maybe
that right
and
now.
Boogie can get better. He is 18 years old, like, and he's played, whatever, how many, six or whatever college basketball games so far. And maybe that's what you're alluding to is that like as he gets better in that role, the team will get better.
Hmm.
So one of the things you really gotta hope happens is that he gets better and better and better in that lead guard spot.
And and it's like it doesn't have to be him. I mean, I'm trying to think of different colleges, like with when UConn went on their run back in the 2010s or whenever that was. Um, the point guard was that little tiny short
Yeah,
guy. I
Kemba
can't remember.
Walker.
No, Kemba Walker was. That's what I was going to say. Is Kemba Walker was a shooting guard. Well, I guess I mean I'm not sure if they kind of shared that, but at the end of the game, Kemba Walker was the floor general. He was the
Yeah,
leader. But that other guy Napier, remember
yeah,
he was like the better ball handler or just like distributor. Now maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe Kemba Walker dominated. I think he probably did dominate the ball more. But then when he left, then it was Napier and that kid Lamb, and like he stepped up and was the floor general. And we just need those guys to. I mean, it could be one of the other guys, but we need somebody who yells at everybody where to be. You know what I'm talking about? The guy
yeah,
that
yeah,
dribbles up
yeah.
the floor and goes, "Okay, yep, go, all right," and then gets the action going, settles everybody down, that everybody defers to. And I mean, and it's not necessarily going to happen, but I think if you're planning on making deep runs and like you need somebody that the team looks to in crunch time. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah. I think so. Well, all right, man. Well, we get to go on the road to play Miami on Tuesday. So we'll be back for that one. We will see what happens there. A nice little true road test will be good. I think that'll be good for these guys. And we'll recap it after it happens.
that one you really do want to, because you know losing being what are we 2-5 now?
No,
No,
what?
2-4.
No.
I mean
Well,
four
you
four
got
and
to put
two.
you got to we're I believe we're 5-2. Yeah, 5-2.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to lose. It feels like not, I mean I know we're going to lose a bunch more games, but you don't want to get closer to 50-50 because like I said,
No.
you look at like UConn and somebody's like, dang dude, they got one more win than they have losses
Yeah.
already. The season just
Dude,
started.
and dude, UConn lost. Like, dude, you guys lost to some like like I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how good people think Illinois is. They were ranked last week or whatever, but
Well, we won't
yeah.
be a top 25 team. That's gone.
Well, probably not. I don't know. Like maybe you can squeak in at the back end or something like that because I mean, Indiana just got blown out by two teams. I don't know how they're going to be ranked. I mean, they got blown out, dude. And then UConn, like, I can you be ranked if you lose 3 games in a row?
I mean,
Like,
it's hard to know. I mean, they were in a tournament, and everybody was decent in that tournament, but and they kind of got screwed out of that one game, so
yeah,
it's hard
yeah,
to know. But yeah, I
uh,
mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The rankings are still a mirage. We're still in that.
yeah,
Most of these teams have played tomato cans for the most part, and this was the first weekend
yeah,
where it was like, holy crap, this is like big time basketball for everybody. And I think you are going to see a major adjustments in the rankings because like nobody knows who's good yet. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Not really.
yeah.
So
Auburn's good.
I
I'll
mean,
tell you
we know
that.
that.
I know
Yeah,
that.
I know
I
that.
know
I know
that.
that. We know that Kansas is good. We know that Auburn's good. You know.
Yeah.
So
All right, man. I will see
yep.
you next time.
All right. See you, dude.
All right, bye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.